Hi everyone, I'm Horlicks and this is now issue 77 of Build Your Own Star Wars R2D2. Okay, so in this issue 77, we are going to be assembling the leg support, body frames and dome fittings. So we're going to go down and check off the parts, but don't be fooled by the amount of parts we got. There is a lot to do. So without further ado, let's crack on. So here we go, here are the parts from issue 77. I'm going to check them all off. And as I say, don't be fooled. There is a lot to do in this issue, which is good. So, check off the parts, and we've got the left leg support, BF10, and we've also got a leg support bracket. And then we get some more Allen screws, the plastic ones. Again, I'm not using those as I explained last week. I've already done the mod for that, so we'll ignore them. And then we also get a cable tidy and 2 cable ties. And that is all it's supplied with in this issue. But there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 pages of instructions. So let's crack on. So the first thing we want to do is we need to align BF11, which is this bracket, onto the left leg support, and I can see it's going to go in the centre. You've got 2 screw holes there, just there, with locating pins just underneath them. The other side it's plain, so you want this inside, and you can see the 2 locating pins there. And then what we're going to do is the bracket is going to fit with the locating pins on this outside edge facing upwards, and it's going to go on in through the bottom holes like that. And you can just about see my see through those holes where the screw is going to go. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to secure that into place with a 2.5 6mm screw. So, I believe it's this one. I'm just going to check the screw. Yeah. And personally, I've only got 3 of these screws by the looks of things. Or I may have 5 actually, I've just spotted 2 more perhaps. Okay, so we're going to do that, line that up, and then we're just going to secure that into place from this edge. And then we should have something that looks like that. Okay, so once we've done that, that's steps 1 to 3. We need some more of the 8mm screws, so I'm just going to leave this out. We're going to need the frame again that we've been working on. And it says show as aligned in the picture. I can't actually see where they're right. Okay. So as you look at the mushroom, I call it, on the right hand side here, you've got two locating pins on the bottom of this part, and they are going to fit in these two small holes here, like so. And I'll get you a better angle. We're going to secure that in with two of the 8mm screws from underneath. So I'm going to put this up like this, and then start screwing through the bottom, and then we're going to have two of those. Oh, I'm going to loosen the other one just so I can get this one in. And there we have it. It should look something like that. Okay, and then that completes the assembly for the frame for now. Okay, and then we're going to move on, and we're going to work more on the dome now. The next part we're going to do is to fit these bolts, screws in around there. Obviously I've already done that as I explained in the last issue, so we're going to forget steps 1 to 5, and then we're moving on to step 6. And for this we need the ejector mechanism that we've been working on. And we also need the cable tie and the cable tidy. There we go. So what it wants us to do is tidy all these wires up, and it's telling us to bring this yellow cable up and then join them all together. And group them together so they all coming upwards like that. And then it says starting at the bottom, so from the point where the motor is, we need to take this coiled cable tidy, and then we need to start tidying up those cables. And the best way to do it is pull it tight, and then with your thumb just twist that round. Like so. That's how it's looking so far. I do love a tidy cable. This is my favourite thing to do because I think I've got OCD, so anything like this is a complete I'm just in paradise when you're starting to tidy up cables like this. It's just amazing feeling. And those of you that like have some sort of OCD will know exactly what I mean. And some of you will probably think, hey, what are you on about? So we show something that looks like that. I'm happy with that. As you can see, the top looks like my picture. I have got that loop in the black cable, so I am pretty. See, you've got the black loop there, and mine seems to match that, so I'm happy. Right, so now what it wants us to do is use one of the cable ties to hold the wires to the side of the ejector mechanism. So just get this right. Okay, so as you look at it upwards like this, you want to put the cable tie through this top part here and then round under the motor, and if I do it I can show you a better angle. So it wants it to go round there, and all the purpose of this is to basically just hold that yellow cable by the looks of it. There's no, because the motor cable isn't included, and either obviously you've got some of the black in there, so yeah, we're just going to tighten that up. I'm happy with that. So all that's doing is just holding this the yellow cable into place, just round there like so. And then what we're going to do is just cut off the excess on that cable tie. Okay, and then what we're going to do next is use the second cable tie, and it wants us to, I'm just going to push that down, secure the cabling to the side of the tube. So this is going to go all the way around the tube, just above this point here, and that's going to hold the cable tidy in place. Okay. And that will do. And then I'm just going to cut the excess off that cable tie. There we go. I'm going to show something that looks like that. Okay, the next step, identify the mounting ring on the dome frame. Okay, so I'm just going to get my towel to rest the dome on. It's saying that the top flap will open, which it has. So we're going to be working on this part here. Okay, holding the ejector mechanism this way round, so we need to hold it obviously this way with the wires at the top. We're going to push this in. And we need 2 of the 6mm self-tapping black screws. So I'll just check the size of these. Yeah, so we've got 2 of the black screws. Now what we're going to do is feed this in. I'm going to fold the cable back, and then now this will only go in one way, because if you might be able to see, there is like a lip on the top where it's slightly raised. That is going to fit obviously on the outside part here of the frame, if you can see that. Okay, so that will only fit one way, and as you're putting it in, the actual motor and mechanism is facing the camera basically. So as that slots in, you see it looks like that. And I think this is going to be fairly tricky, because you need to hold that in place. So I'm going to do this from the other side so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to have to get a screw lined up on the screwdriver. And then we're going to line that up and screw that in from the top. Ooh, so I've got one in. And that's 2. Now the screwdriver sits at a slight angle when you're screwing that, because the screw is slightly just under this lip. So, but it does go in. It hasn't caused me any issues. And there we have the ejector mechanism screwed into place with those 2 screws. Now I'm hoping there is going to be a bit more support for that, because I don't think that's going to, you know, if you now drop this or anything happens, that's just going to snap. So make sure obviously you use the stand now that we got to sit R2D2 on, which is obviously why we got supplied it. But just make sure we use that now, because that is going to be very, very fragile, because that's just got 2 screws in and this is plastic. Okay, so now that part's done, we're going to be wiring up the dome. So this is the bit that I've been looking forward to. It's like spaghetti junction in there at the moment. So we're going to be tidying up some of the wires. I'm going to try and make sense of this the best I can, because the magazine is just an overload of wiring diagram. Okay, so it's just showing us a diagram of the circuit board that we've got in there, and then just it's telling us that there's white sockets and they're labelled. It says other boards may vary, but mine is the same as the picture. and then it says there's only 6 devices to wire up, but the ejector uses 2 connections, obviously one for the motor and one for the sensors. Okay. It says most of the wires inside the dome are temporarily tied back, so you'll need to route them systematically. The white cable clips screwed to the central ring frame are used to route the wires neatly so they won't snag as the dome rotates. So as you see, we've got I've already put some wires in there, but I need to take them out really because I don't actually know where the wires are going to run yet. But there you go, you've got 3 cable clips that we installed on an earlier issue. So it says start by uncoiling the lead for the rear status display. Okay, and that is this one here. And I know that because it's next to this blue part here. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then what it wants us to do is feed this into the closest of the cable clips. So actually this is where I had this cable because I just assumed, but obviously I didn't want to assume until I'd read the magazine to confirm. So I'm just going to move these wires out of the way. So we're going to have something that looks like that, which is where I had it before. So we're going to route from here all the way around. Okay, and then it says en route to the circuit board, fit the plug into the end socket, which is labelled GY. So that must be GY, which is this end one here, must stand for green, yellow, which was that LED we had. Now I'm just trying to get the best fit for this because obviously I don't want to, I might go around. Okay, it doesn't really say, it's basically doing it like I've done it there. Okay. So that is the first cable we've got connected to our circuit boards. Brilliant. So it says uncoil the leads to the to the rear LCD display screen as shown. So it's talking about this rectangle screen here. It wants us to uncoil the cable clip that we left on there. Okay, and then keep that, and then what it wants us to do feed the wires into this cable clip. Right, so from this projector unit here, or not projector, screen, it's going to go into obviously this cable clip here. And then it's going to go into the next one. Okay, and then we're going to connect that. into the socket that says LCD 1, which is next to the one we've just fitted, which was GY. You can see that, so now we've got both of those connected. Okay, so after we've done that, take the short lead from the front LCD display screen, so which is this one here, which is dead in front of the circuit board, and then that is going to go into this third socket just there, straight. There's no that'll just fit in nicely because it's got a nice length to that cable. There we go. So that is that part. It says uncoil the lead for the front status display, saving the twist of the wire holding it together. So we already did that, but I did that on a different one. Fit this plug into the fourth socket, which is labelled RB, so that must be for red blue. So that's this one here, and we're going to fit that into RB. Okay, and then what it wants us to do is use that cable tie we just had, the wire, and because obviously there's a lot of excess cable here, it wants us to neatly sort of loop this round in a fashion, and for this I'm actually going to move the plug back from the circuit board just while I do this, and I'm just going to loop that round nicely. In fact, I'm going to take it out of both ends just for the minute, and then neatly tie that together. That should do. And then it wants us to use this wire to secure that into a nice shape, because obviously we don't want any of these wires loose, and then it you know, they're getting jammed up as his head's spinning. So I've done it like that. It's quite small, and I'm hoping that will sit nicely. Yeah, which it does. So now I've got that. Okay, so that's that bit done. Theirs looks a little bit more messier, but I'm really happy with that. It says take the lead from the projector next, and then plug that into the end socket, which is labelled projector. So this cable here that comes out of the projector unit, that is just going to literally come up. I'm going to tuck that round there, and then that's just going to fit in that end socket there that says projector. And there we have it, nice and neat. And then it says take the leads from the lightsaber ejector, which have two plugs on the ends. fit the larger plug which connects to the limit stop into socket labelled LS, limit stop, lay it down here. I'm just trying to get a nice position on the cable there. Okay, so I've got that. And then obviously fit the smaller plug which connects to the motor, labelled M for motor. I'm just having difficulty actually getting that in for some reason. These do only go in, there we go, they only go in one way, so don't worry about putting them in the wrong way or anything. Okay, and then we should have something that looks like that. And if I do say so myself, mine looks a bit neater than theirs. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And in fact, I'm going to loop that cable round, and I've just looped it round this cable grip a second time just to keep that nice and tight. Okay, so that was it for issue 77. So I can't actually believe how heavy the dome is now. I mean, that ejector mechanism wasn't that heavy, really. You know, it's plastic, so, but it just feels so much more heavier with everything in now. So yeah, and there's still more to come, I believe. We've still got the camera and stuff. So yeah. Let's just wait and see what happens next week. So for now, take care. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks again for all your support. I do mean that. And I'll see you next time. Take care.